Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United fans protest against the Glazer family outside Old Trafford. Man United fans have burned the American flag. Now it recently said that our fans protested against the Glazers at Carrington, and it said our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently told protesters that Joel Glazer loves the club. The Glazers have set the price to sell the club after the European Super League failure. They want a fee in the region of £4 billion. Like I updated you this morning, the Red Knights have told the Glazers to sell the club. The Glazers recently said sorry. Joel Glazer released a statement and apologised to Manchester United fans over the European Super League plan. The Glazers have been at Manchester United for like 16 years now. They've been at the club since 2005. The banners they had out at Carrington was 51%, MUFC 20 and Glazers out. I hate the way the football club has been run now for a long time. Now, I want to delve into some more news on Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward will get to choose Manchester United's next chief executive before he leaves. Now, it recently said we could look at 5 candidates who could replace Ed Woodward. Now, it did recently say that Edwin van der Sar is the favourite to replace Ed Woodward. If Manchester United got Edwin van der Sar in, I think it would be the right decision by the club because 1, Edwin van der Sar knows the club through thick and thin. He endured 6 years at Manchester United. Obviously, as a goalkeeper, he was with us from 2005 to 2011. And the other reason, he has got the experience. He's currently the CEO at Ajax and he's done very, very well at Ajax. Edwin van der Sar was linked with a technical director's role. It got announced quite a few days ago that Ed Woodward has resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club. But I presume all Man United fans would have been delighted with this news, Woodward resigning, because we've been very critical of Woodward for a long time now. Main explanations is because he hasn't backed any of the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired. Our recruitment has been poor, and in recent years we've overpaid for players. So that's the news on that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer admitted that he never liked the European Super League and he's glad that it failed. I was very, very sceptical it was going to go ahead because everyone was against it apart from the owners of clubs. The owners are the only ones that wanted it to go ahead so they could generate more money. But obviously all of the clubs now have withdrawn. Now, you know the news on the transfers, don't you? There's a lot of players that Manchester United are looking at. Now, I recently gave you the news on Raphael Varane. Now, Raphael Varane prefers a move to Manchester United over PSG. He recently said we've been handed a boost in our pursuit of Raphael Varane, because it said Real Madrid are closing in on David Alaba. Now, it said not so long ago that we face competition for Raphael Varane because Bill's Christian Falk said that Chelsea had entered the race, and reflecting on that, it said Chelsea are looking to hijack our move. Some clubs are willing to wait until next year to get Raphael Varane, when he's available on a 3. Reports from Spain said not so long ago that Man United were in advanced talks with Raphael Varane. So reflecting on that, it said Varane to Man United was close, and Real Madrid were demanding £60 million. It says we hope to lower Real Madrid's £60 million asking price. Raphael Varane is ready to leave Real Madrid in the summer transfer window because his contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. The Spanish transfer expert Eduardo Inda said earlier on this season that Raphael Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer. And it did say that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition: he must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. The main explanations I'd take him at Manchester United is because he's a world-class centre-half. He'd go very well alongside Maguire in our back line. He's highly experienced, and he's got a good pedigree as a player. He's won 18 major honours at Real Madrid. So they are the reasons. He's made over 300 appearances for Madrid. He's been with them 10 years, or almost 10 years. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. But he certainly would exceed expectations in the Premier League. Now, quite a few weeks ago, it said that Solskjaer had drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. So we are looking at quite a few centre-halves. You already know the news on Declan Rice from West Ham. It said not so long ago that Declan Rice is interested in joining Manchester United. Apparently, he asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford. It says West Ham are demanding £100 million. He's not worth £100 million. I reckon he's worth in between 50 to 60 million, maybe 70 million at a push, but he is a good player. He said earlier on this season that Solskjaer agreed with our recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing for the club. The main explanations I'd take him at Man United is because he's predominantly a holding midfielder, and Man United are in search for the holding midfielder. There again, he can be deployed as a centre-half. He's well Premier League proven, that's another reason, and he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. Rice has been at West Ham 7 years. He's got a contract with them until 2024. I recently give you the news on Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. It did say that Man United are one of the favourites to sign him, and it said we are ahead of Liverpool in the race. It says Barcelona will accept around 43.3 million for him. Last year, we wanted to get Ousmane Dembele on loan with an option to buy, but our wishes never materialised. He said earlier on this season we'd been dealt a blow in our chase for Ousmane Dembele, because he said he's very likely he'll stay at Barcelona, and Ronald Koeman said he hopes Ousmane Dembele stays, and he says Barcelona were willing to offer him a 3-year contract. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist and close to Man United, he said that Ousmane Dembele was set to hold contract talks with Barcelona. He's got like 14 months left on his current contract with Barca. He's been at Barcelona now quite a few years. Barcelona got him in a deal worth £135 million from Dortmund in 2017. Barca paid like £97 million up front. My element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is that he's injury prone. He's sustained quite a few injuries at Barcelona, but he was good at Dortmund and he was also good at Rennes, and he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. You know the news on Cristiano Ronaldo? There's been more narratives coming out regarding him recently. He said Cristiano Ronaldo could be open to a sensational return to Manchester United. Gazzetta dello Sport, which is an Italian outlet, they recently said that Man United made contact with Cristiano Ronaldo's agent over a return this summer. Juventus are demanding just £26 million. Cristiano Ronaldo's salary a year is £27 million, so that'll have to be cut in half if he's to rejoin Man United. Don't forget Cristiano Ronaldo endured 6 years at the football club. You know, he was with us from 2003 to 2009. You know, he won 3 Premier League titles with us. He won the Champions League. He won the FA Cup. He won the League Cup and he won the FIFA Club World Cup. We paid just £12 million for him from Sporting Lisbon. In 2009, we sold him to Real Madrid for £80 million. And he enjoyed a good 9 or 10 years with Real Madrid. And then obviously Juventus got him for £100 million in 2018. So he's been at Juventus a few years now. He's got a contract with Juve until 2022. So his contract expires next year. Ronaldo's regarded as one of the best players in the world. You know, he's won 5 Ballon d'Ors, he's won 31 major honours in his playing career so far. I presume a lot of United fans would take Ronaldo back at the club, despite him being 36 years of age. But in the summer transfer window, I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings, maybe even 5. And I've already identified the areas where we need to strengthen up. We need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big the summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. The summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Earlier on this season, it said that Man United will spend big, but Solskjaer did mention that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. I can assure Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window, and he'll be Man United manager next season, because it's already been made clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked, even if we fail to win the Europa League. The Europa League is our only chance of any silverware this season. There's a very good chance we'll win the Europa League. We are into the semi-finals. It's 5 semi-finals in total under Ole. But Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. You know, we haven't won a trophy since 2017, so if we fail to win the Europa League this season, that'd be exactly 4 years without a trophy. But I said, you know, Solskjaer does deserve at least another season because he has made good progress. But I will stick to what I've said on my recent videos. He's not the long-term manager for Manchester United. I presume a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. Our board think he's a long-term future because it said earlier on this season that Solskjaer agreed a new 3-year contract worth £30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. Let's wait there a second. Solskjaer still has like a year left on his current 3-year contract. But Solskjaer should get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window, because obviously we've got John Murtough. He's our director of football, and it was the right decision by the club getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes that we needed. And obviously, we've got Darren Fletcher. He's our technical director, and obviously Woodward believes that Solskjaer's the right man to lead the club forward. He did release a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward, was backing him. And even when we was enjoying them really, really bad periods, Woodward showed his support for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer several times. Because like I've mentioned before, our board have got a soft stance on Ole, with him being a legend of the club. Solskjaer's been criticised a lot as Manchester United manager. A lot of Man United fans have been demanding him out. Obviously, they've got main explanations why they've been demanding him out. But I presume that there's still a lot of Man United fans that are Ole in, and they believe that he needs more time at the club. This is his second full season. He's been Manchester United manager over 2 years now. He's our best manager, I think, since Ferguson. He's our fourth permanent manager since Ferguson. I can assure we'll finish in the top 4 this season. We'll probably finish second in the Premier League. Obviously, we know we're not going to win the league. We're too far behind Man City. But Solskjaer said earlier on this season, we will never ever give up on the Premier League title. Like I said to you, I do have my concerns about Ole. But there's also a lot of positives regarding Ole as well. We're second in the Premier League. At one point, he got us top of the Premier League. He's got us to the Europa League semi-final. We are in the He got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. He got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Got a very good away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year, so we're unbeaten in our last 23 Premier League away games. Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a 3rd place finish. He's also made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent almost £300 million. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. I also like the way he's promoted the youth. And he's beaten quite a few big name managers. And in general, we've enjoyed very good periods under Ole, where we have seen consistency. And in some of them good periods, he's got the best out of the team. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United, it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. I think he's handled things very, very well. One good thing as well about Solskjaer, when he got appointed in as Man United manager, he said everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players, and more or less everybody has been given their chances. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. The main explanation the club giving the job 2 years ago was reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. Quite a few players are going to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. Looks like Cavani is going to be leaving the club in the summer transfer window, because Cavani recently put a transfer request in. He recently had a meeting with Manchester United and he's asked to leave Manchester United to join Boca Juniors. Now, Footballer Insider said earlier on this season that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. He said he's got a verbal agreement with them, and Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a 3-year contract. Now, Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United. Cavani's father came out prior to that and said that Cavani is unhappy. He doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Earlier on this season, we held showdown talks with Edinson Cavani over his future at the club. Solskjaer said prior to the Tottenham game he was unsure over Cavani's future. And then it actually said that we'd been handed a boost in our attempts to keep hold of Edinson Cavani because the Uruguay manager advised Cavani to stay in Europe. Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season, but there's an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Cavani's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. In a lot of his games, his hold-up play's been good. He's created chances. His movement's been good in and around the box. And he's scored very good goals. So I'd like him to stay next season. So too would a lot of Manchester United fans. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial in the summer because, Anthony Martial is no longer good enough to represent the club and he has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's injured at the moment, is Martial. He's got a knee injury. It's very, very likely he's going to be out for the remainder of this season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. I reckon Martial's had 2 good seasons. Good in his debut season under Van Gaal, and he was good last season. He's been at the club now over 5 years. We got him in a deal worth 54 million from Monaco back in 2015, and I think it was last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance that we'll offload him in the summer transfer window because he doesn't get in our 11. He was out with injury not so long ago as well. And my element of concern about Juan Mata, he's lost that yard of pace. And he's 34-35 now. Don't forget, towards the start of this season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Juan Mata has been at the club now over 6 years. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Donnie Van Der Beek, I think we should offload him in the summer transfer window. Not because he's a bad player, it's just that he doesn't get enough opportunities at the club. Most of Donnie Van Der Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Now, earlier on this season, it said that Man United were considering a Donnie Van Der Beek swap deal, and there was talks of an Adrian Rabiot and Donnie Van Der Beek swap deal. Ronald de Boer came out earlier on this season and he said he backed Donnie Van Der Beek to become a success at Man United, and he said Donnie Van Der Beek still feels loved at the club despite his lack of game time. Now, earlier on this season, it mentioned that Van Der Beek wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward over his future, because he said prior to that Van Der Beek wanted to quit Man United after 1 season due to his lack of game time. But he's a good player. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Ajax last summer, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Van Der Beek because we was reluctant to let him go. Nemanja Matic, good chance we'll offload him in the summer transfer window because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. And I've always had my strong reservations about Matic because he's always been a slow player. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Phil Jones, I think we need to offload him because he's always been inconsistent, more or less. Doesn't get in our 11, and he's been out of injury for over a year. Phil Jones is the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era, and this is his 10th season at Man United, so he's been a long servant. I think we'll be also looking to get rid of Diego Dalot permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. Alex Telles, you already know the news on him. Recent reports have said that Alex Telles has decided to leave Man United. And Calcio Mercato have recently said that Juventus are interested, and Juventus are willing to offer Adrian Rabiot in a swap deal for Alex Telles. To be honest with you, Alex Telles has played nowhere near as much as I expected, because when we got him last summer, I expected him to be our first choice left back, but hasn't happened. In some of the games he's been involved in, though, he's done quite well. We got Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto. Romero could offload him, and De Gea, we could sell him in the summer transfer window. So yeah, we offload them players, we'll generate quite a lot of money, and it will help us with our rebuilding process. It really will. But there's a lot of players that we'll keep in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I said, he's doing well now. In the last 8 years, Man United have been playing catch-up, let's be honest. We've had different managers with different philosophies. The managers we've sacked since Ferguson was David Moyes. We sacked him after 10 months. He's the worst manager we've ever had. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies and getting us a second place finish. I think that was in his first season. We haven't only had different managers with different philosophies. Like I've mentioned, we've overpaid for players. We spent over £1 billion on players in the last 8 years, and we must have brought around 37 players in. Mistakes have been made as well in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. But we haven't been the same team since Ferguson, and like I've mentioned before, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club. Tomorrow, I'll be giving you my score prediction for our game against Leeds. And tomorrow evening, I'll be giving you my match reaction for the Man United Leeds game. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.